Okay, I'm in the back of my countercat Galaga, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the 32 XD card in there. I think this is a non-brand SD card. Oh, Pony is a good brand. So I'm gonna put this in here. We put it the opposite, upside down. Okay, then you put it right in the front. So you slide in and put it in there. So once it's done, you're going to now I only have one power. Okay, one power, and this one is my keyboard. So because I have to set up my password. Okay, to log into Wi-Fi, because the first time it's not set up with Wi-Fi, the button is not set up, so you have to have a keyboard plug in. But that's only two cable right now is outside this cabinet, but everything else is plugged in here. So you have, last time I did not show that in the video, even though the video took a long time. It actually took a whole day, but I do a lot of cut and paste to wind up to be only okay. So in here you have the power cable on top. So this power cable is plugged, the one that come with the system is plugged into here. Okay, to the, so all this is full, and then the track bar, the spinner, this one is also plugged into here. Okay, and then the controller is also plugged into here. So you got 3 plug-in, and then the keyboard, so that's all 4 cable is plugged in here. I don't know if this light does help or not. So you got all 4 of them plugged in here. So we're going to go ahead and flip this around, and we're going to turn it on, power on. So the system, that's the demo, the Smasher demo. That it only might come like that. So once it come up, it only might go off. I think because this, like I was saying before, the on is actually off and off is actually on. So if you have it on this side and you boot it up, it more likely is going to turn it off because it's not an on button. Let's see what happened. Oh, it did not shut it down. Okay, that's good. So you're going to do the, it's asking for the button setup. So you hold any button, A, to go up, down, left, right. Then my start button is the red, and then select, and then press A, B, and then X, Y, and we don't have no shoulder pad, so we're just gonna keep on holding it till it skip, holding it, skip, holding it. Once it skip, you let go and you press it again till you get to the very last one that it say for the hot key, I believe, and you want to use the select button. By default, it's supposed to be set to hotkey. To enable, you want to select the select button. Okay, here you're gonna press the select button, then you click A for OK, and then your controller is set. Now, when it's first time, automatically go to the emulator. Okay, that's what you want. Before you go to the track mode, you want to go to the emulator. The button is all correct, set based on your setup. Now, the track mode is different. It doesn't. So you only have one screen. Okay, and here are some of the stuff that you wanted to look at. For example, you wanted to install the retro setup to add more arcade like different one. Let's just look at it right now, see what we have before, because it doesn't make sense. Oh, one more thing is when you start a game, you press A. It normally allow you to see the setting or change the setting, but it doesn't work. It's doing the bio check. Arcade game is when it's first time loading it, it always do bio check before it will allow you to play it. But anyway, the game is already kicked in. I cannot stop it from kicking in because I don't know. So whenever you add new game, this is running by default using May 2003. So all the game here work on May 2003. But if you was to add more game to it, you can. Some of my game do not work as a May 2003. It use a Final Burnout 2012, which I transfer from my Neo Geo arcade stick. So those ROM require Final Burnout or FB Neo. So FB Neo and Final Burnout 2012, and it doesn't have that. So now, since you cannot press enter to change it, let me show you another one. Oh. All right, let's just select another one. And normally when you load up, you press A. It allows you to go to the setup, but it didn't. Okay. So what we're going to do is, let's look at the button so you could at least see what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to press select and start again. So this area, this here, I'm going to show you how to enable that, so you know how to do that. So you go to here, and then you're going to go to run command. Now the run command is there because the guy disabled it. So that function, based on Raspberry Pi, the version 4 point something, 4 point, I don't remember what version we have, but it allows you to turn that off. But we don't have an IP address, so let's go ahead and let's do the setup. Let's set up the Wi-Fi first. And then we're gonna press A to connect to the Wi-Fi. Okay, so I found it. Then I'm press A, type in my password, press enter on my keyboard. And it take a while for it to so now it's connected. Okay, so my IP address now for this one is .64. All right, so now if I to do any kind of upgrade install, it's gonna work. Press A. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to do is set up your password on your Wi-Fi with your system. And in this menu, you have a command called run command configuration, and you have to run that in order for it to disable the what you call it, the key to able to enable the setup, allow you to choose different setup. So right now it's all disabled. Okay, so you want to enable it, and that's pretty much it. So this is already enabled, so you want to enable all of them, so that way then you select exit out the screen. All right, so now if I was to go and run the same game again, okay, let me bring it down because you couldn't see what I was pressing. Zoom out. Okay, So now if I was to go into the game now and I press A, I'm able to see that, okay, see that screen. But that screen, you don't, when you press it so fast so many times, it takes you to another screen. You don't want to change anything. Whenever you see this, you just want to cancel first, go back to this original screen, and make sure you don't accidentally change this, because when you go inside the first time, you change it for everything, all your game is going to run into a different chords, and you want to use you don't want to change the default. So the default chord is May 2003 with this image that the guy created, when shot by the guy. So here you wanted to see what kind of chord, so you could pick a different chord. So if a game do not start, you want to modify it, the one you transfer over, it doesn't start, so you wanted to add a different game, you could come here and pick. So the only one they have, number 2, is Neo Geo CD, which is the same one, it's the same chord that point to the same one. So this is Final Burnout Neo. The reason they created one, name it like that, because Neo Geo CD do not work, the chord itself. So they create a Final Burnout - Neo Geo CD. So the Final Burnout Neo Geo CD is actually made for also support Neo Geo CD. And this is the Final Burnout that I'm talking about that work, but they don't have the Final Burnout 2012. So we need to install that. And then May 2000 is there, May 2003 is there, but May 2003 plus is not there, and May 2010 and 2016. Those are the ones that I found that a lot of games use those, but it's not there. But they did install Peter Drive, okay. So Peter Drive is for Sega Genesis. Any Sega Genesis will work on here, like Sega CD, I think except Game Gear, but Master System, all that other stuff will work on Sega, okay. And then this one is actually for NES. So any Nintendo game, it will work. But they did not put Super Nintendo or Turbo 16 in here. So I tried to add more to it, and I created a problem. So I need to figure it out. I must have done something wrong. I went to the wrong place. I did wrote it down in the past how to add different chord, but I never did a video on it. So now it's been for a while, I don't remember, so I need to go back and retrack on that. So when I figure it out, I will post another video how to add different chord. But for this video purposes, how to add game and make it work. So now this game will support, this system will support NES game and will support Mega Drive game. So you could put Mega Drive and NES game in here, and you could, select it from that game list. So this is how you enable for the emulator to choose a different emulator. And they call this a run command script enable stuff. So you have to enable that in order to come to this screen. And then you just launch the game. Once you finish set it up, you just launch your game, make sure it works. Now, if you accidentally go into, let's just say we accidentally started the track mode, and you want to go back to the emulator, because right now we are in emulator by default. All right, so all this is the emulator. That's how it look like. It automatically give you a video plus the wheel. They call that the wheel, WHEEL, which is the title of the game, and that's what this one does. Okay, but for some reason, I think the track mode, it doesn't give you that option. The track mode actually give you something else. So let's go to the track mode real quick, and I'll show you how to get out of the track mode and come to the emulator, because you need to use the emulator to install the different chord. Okay, so let's go to the track mode. And one thing cool about this version is it have a built-in track mode image already installed it. So it's very easy just switching from one to another. You don't have to do any kind of now Raspberry Pi 4, they are working on that, and some people already have that put into the system. Okay, that's normal. This emulator used that. That's a simple video where it's just all right. So this is a track mode that look more like excuse me. It looked more like an arcade one up. Okay. So let's see if I could darken it. Okay. So you don't have no animation. So that was kind of sad that you actually see the title, but there's no animation. Okay. But you have a background sound. So this is actually well, this is not really an NES game, but you could add more game to here. So you could, so for example, I noticed that they didn't have Galaga 88, and we want a Galaga 88 in here. And so you will have to download the ROM and the wheel, which is the title, and then you have to also download the video where you go to YouTube and download the video. Okay, or you could grab it from another different image from another place and then put it in here. So it doesn't have Galaga, and then when it comes to X-Men, it doesn't have an X-Men sounds, Sonic Boom and Street Fighter, but you're not going to be able to put Street Fighter because you only got 4-button joystick. So I do want to add some of the X-Men gaming, like X-Men vs Street Fighter, Marvel vs Capcom. They are not here. See, they have Galaga, Galagan, and Gappies or something, but they don't have a Galaga 88. So I'm going to show you how to add it, but at the same time we need to add the core. But if you over here, you could go back to. Normally you could go back to the emulator by selecting emulator here, but he doesn't have that built in. So once you switch it over, it won't let you. Now you could run the retro art from here. He does have that included, so you can run it from here. But I just want to show you how to get out of this. So let's see. I don't think you could go into retro art from here, can you? See, you can't go from here. He actually blocked it out. See that? It doesn't work. Okay? You press the B button, it doesn't work, and you press the A, you do nothing. Okay? So the way he have it set up, where B is the button that you push, but it's been disabled. So that's the reason I'm showing you guys this. So in case you want to use the same image I'm using, you're going to use the keyboard and you're going to press F4. So you're going to look for F4, press it, and it doesn't work either. So let's see if we could. I can't really see from this angle because the screen is not perfect screen. So we do have IP address. I don't want to load the game. Let's get out. Okay. So what I did is I pressed both the Y and X at the same time to give you this option. Okay. Then you could choose Raspberry Pi. You could exit out the game. Okay. And Raspberry Pi, like I say, if you press B, it doesn't work because if you go to Retro Pi setup, it doesn't work. All right. So I'm gonna press this 2 button again, and I want to exit out. Okay. Do I want to exit out the track mode? Yes, I do. So you move your joystick up and you want to select B. So now we exit out the track mode. Yeah, it is a little bit more complicated but the more you learn about Raspberry Pi, the more you like it because it gives you a lot of functionality, a lot of stuff that is pretty cool. So it's telling me that my temperature for my system is only 32 Celsius. So that's very good for Raspberry Pi. That's actually excellent. So that's the reason I use that ice. They call that one the ice tower, and it's standing up one. You don't want the one that's laying down. That one, they did a test, bench test on the temperature. That one wasn't the best, but the tower, the one that's standing up, that's the best one. So here you're gonna type in EMU emulator, but you could use the tab key, and it automatically spell it for you. So you don't have to type the whole thing. You just press the tab key and this will show up. Then you're gonna press enter and we are back into the emulator station. So that's the one way to go about it. So you press both of this button to get in because this is a straight from the image is a fresh button, nothing set up. So there's no going into the track mode button. So this image do not allow you to go to the, so we're gonna go left and right. Now we're gonna go to RetroPie setup. Okay, so we're gonna press A button. So here A button is A, B is B. The other one, the B button is the one. So now we're in the command prompt right now. Okay. And I wanted to install the extra cord that I was telling you about. So in order for me to add more game to it, I need to so normally I will select the update the RetroPie script. So I have the latest. Right now it's version 4.5.14. Okay, and I wanted to have the latest script. So I'm gonna press A, say yes. And it's going to try to get it. Hatch the latest version, yes. Okay, so it's running the latest script. And that will, you want to run the latest script update. You don't want to do try to do a complete update because this is the old version for Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, and there's no really any latest version for it. Right now, all the version they support now is Raspberry Pi 4, and but eventually, once they get it working, they will merge them together again, like they did with Raspberry Pi 3 and 3B Plus. So they will eventually merge them together because when 3B came out, 3B Plus came out. It is not, the image wasn't compatible with 3B and 3B Plus. So, but now both 3B and 3B Plus, they work together. They're the same image. You could use it on both. But the Raspberry Pi 4B is not compatible with the 4B is not compatible with 3B at this time. So there's no really new update. Only the script and the add-on stuff that is up. You could update it. So once it's finished updating, we are going to install those cords. It's important to install those so that way you could add any kind of arcade game and it will try to work. This is not overclocked, by the way. So if you're trying to run some of the game, like there's a one called the Demon Front. That one it looks just like a Metal Slug game, but it's like a big improvement of the game. And that one, it won't work because it's not overclocked. So you will have to overclock it. So now it's a version 4.7.11, and that's good. It's only 6 days old, that version. Then we're gonna go to manage the package. manage the cord doesn't, it's just all the retro stuff, so you don't need to be on the first one. So we're gonna click back. The main cord is the one we're gonna go down the list. All this cord have been installed by him, but we are looking for the one that he haven't installed it. So all this, yeah. So this one you could skip the option one. So you kind of go down the list and see now. Some of this are actually a good one to install, like this one, this one. Those also support May, but their configuration is different than retro. Is a pop-up screen May, and those are a little bit harder to manage. I'd rather not use those because I don't want to go into those setup. But I know the templates, they want very nice wood that the wood that image. The templates is very beautiful. The template, yeah, let's go ahead and install it, because the template that, if you install it from a source, it's going to take a long time. If you install it from binary, it's very fast. So I'm just going to show you one of them because it does take a long time to install the PCX. That's for PlayStation. This is for Dreamcast. So there you go, Final Burnout 2012. And this is also the latest version for Dreamcast. That's the one you want if you want Dreamcast. But this, like I said, it's only 4 buttons. You don't want to install that. There's no reason for it. And there's 2000 plus, 2003 plus, 2010. So they're all here on this side. So you want to do the 10, and you also want to do the 16. But I don't think 16 is over here. 16 is on the other screen. So we're gonna go ahead and install 2012 because most of my game work on that one, and it work on FB Neo, which is already installed it. So when you press enter, if you install from the source, it's because they only give you one option: install from the source on this version, the latest version. So it's good to go ahead and let it compile it and give you the correct. It will put everything for you together. But it will take a good 30 minutes to an hour to do this. So you're just gonna press enter and you say yes and let it run, and it's gonna take a long time. So what I recommend is once you get everything set up correctly, back it up, burn another image. Like I was saying, instead of write, you're gonna read. So in case something go wrong and you adding game or you're doing something, you don't have to go back and redo all this. The image will have all the code you just install, and just back it up just for safety. It's only 8 gigabytes, so it doesn't take long to back it up. Install all the code. The one I recommend is Final Burnout 2012. Install the 2003 plus, and install 2010 and 2016. So there's total of 4 code that you would be good to install. Once you install that, and then the one I mentioned on top, the AV something, install that because that one, people say, Glenn actually mentioned how to set that up so that the spinner will work with that. But that one does support spinner. You could install number 5, but I just use go ahead and install that one too. There will be five of those. So I will install that and check it out. But install those code, and then we are going to go to the computer. And so the idea is the same. You just go down one by one, select the pack. First one we select was the optional pack. Then you could go to development pack or experiment pack and look for those May version, and then you could install those. And then once you finish installing, we're going to go ahead and go to the computer and put in the ROM in there. So let's go to computer and put the ROM in there, and then we're gonna come back to here, and then we're going to test each game and set it up so that way we could play more game and make this one a official vertical. You could actually add a horizontal game, and this screen and the way this set up, the screen is not very vertical. It is wide enough to display the vertical screen where it's not really bad looking. It's not like totally disaster like it look very skinny and look terrible. It actually look pretty good. So I will be putting Ninja Turtle in there, Michael Jackson in there, and all the X-Men, Marvel game in here. Since this is not overclocked, it's not going, and plus this is a Raspberry Pi 3B, it's not going to run Capcom vs. Marvel vs. Capcom Part 2. It's not fast enough. Alright, so we're going to let that run, and when it's finished, we are going to go into a computer and add game, and then we're going to look at it. So this video, we cover how to add shutdown, and we are going to test that at the end when we after finish adding the game. I'll show you to prove to you the shutdown does work, and then we also go over how to add cord, how to upgrade this image, and where to download it, and how to download it, and what software you need to use to download it. So this is all software stuff that we are covering, and yeah. All right, so let's do it, and then afterward we're gonna go look at the computer.